Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. And rather than doing a speed duel deck today, because again, it is Sunday. Normally it's Sunday speed duel. I took a couple days. I wanted to not immediately jump on the news. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I'd have to be making a second video and wasting time. I wanted to do a bit of a Yu-Gi rant. So recently, and this is the reason my boy Time Wizard's out here, Konami came down with this whole deal about how Time Wizard format was going to be changed. And there were things in there that I agreed with. There were things in there that I disagreed with. And there were things that just absolutely shattered the way Time Wizard would work and the reason why we would play it. So I figured I could talk a little bit about it. Not really rant, not really get any crazy, but kind of just like overview what happened. Now, initially what was said was Konami was going to take it to where we play along with current deals. They wanted to backpedal the game into an almost perfect mirror of what we do now. So like right now, player one does not draw. Okay, that's fine. In the past, player one did draw. They also wanted to move all the errata all the way back. Now, one of our decks that we've actually set aside was our Critter Format Exodia. And one of the things about Critter Format, and again, it's not one of the formats they were talking about playing anyway, but one of the big deals with Critter Format is this little dude named Sangan and this crazy lady named Witch. Now, these have been errated. In, of course, Time Wizard format, we play with them as they originally were, regardless of which print run we have. So it doesn't matter that this is whatever YS17, which is a structure deck. It does not matter that, where did she go? I could have swore I moved her up here too, but she's probably not. SDHC, starter deck something. It does not, or structure deck possibly. It doesn't matter which version of Sangan or which version of which we have. We would resolve and activate the abilities as they were in the time period at that time period. Now, there's an easy way to do this and there's a tough way to do this. One is we can go through the Yu-Gi wikis. We could find all the erratas and we can see how and when they were errated and cross-reference this with the formats and the ban lists. 100% can do it. However, Magic the Gathering, and again, for some reason I lose subscribers every time I do Magic content, which is crazy because I figured you guys would like other games on occasion, but I guess taking a whole week off for it was a little weird for you. Wizards of the Coast, WotC, they actually have like this wonderful database and companion app that keeps up with all the rulings. So there's not like a crazy amount of questions about how this resolves, how that resolves. And it's a small companion app. It's fine. We could do that. We could be doing that. That could be built into Neuron, as well as the ban lists, the card pools. All of that could be something that we could put into Neuron. It would be fine. But what happens is when you do this and when you make the errata go backwards, you lose the spirit of legacy Time Wizard plays. So just real quick, what this means is like we are currently in our Imperial format era as far as our Time Wizard Progressive series is going, and we have the ability to play Sangan and or Witch multiple times in a round. Normal summon. We have Last Will as an option. We have Mystic Tomatoes as an option. You have Premature Burial, Monster Reborn, Call of the Haunted. Technically, you have Shallow Grave as well, depending on how the deck is going to be played. And the reason I say this is the original Sangan and or Witch just states if goes from field to grave, go ahead and pull the search. Which means one could, in fact, play a fairly strong Imperial format Exodia build, which would be nice. But if you read this is one of the more recent erratas. If this is sent from the field to the graveyard, add a monster with 1500 or less attack from the deck to the hand, and then it adds but you cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with that name for the rest of this turn. You can only use this effect of Sangan once per turn. This was never the case, and in fact, what this would mean is if they do not keep with the backpedal, they are going to ruin lots of our memories, which is fine on the one hand, because what they wanted to do, and this is the good behind this. The ugly is that they're ruining historical plays. The good, though, is that it would be a better way to allow the brand new duelists who didn't live maybe during those time periods, because like you guys got to understand, like I'm talking like 2002, 2003, 2004. We have players who were born in like 2010 and stuff. Like that's fair. If you were born in 2010, you're like 10 years old. You could be playing Yu-Gi-Oh right now. Which is crazy that, again, we like lose sight of that. It's a great way to get those newer players a look at the past, which would be fine. But they were talking about doing that. They were talking about, well, let's see. This is an article I found about the backpedaling. What about the rules? They were going to use the new game mechanics. They were going to call it time travel now. I guess this might be something for Master Duel, which would be fine. But they were talking about, and this one just this basically just says how they backpedaled the discussion. They were going to change all the rules to reflect the current play style of the game. And there are certain things I agree with, like priority should never have been a thing. We've had this discussion. I think I Yu-Gi ranted about that once upon a time. And it just comes down to like, if we can have a simple discussion of, look, it was never in a single rule book in any structure deck or any starter deck when people were claiming the rule. Player priority is one of the reasons why Upper Deck lost. Pretty sure that's why they lost the distribution rights and the ability to run the tournaments for Konami, is because we basically just, as a community, we latched on to these abilities that were not quick abilities. And I know the big thing is everybody's like, well, Blacklist or Soldier, if I special summon BLS Envoy and Trap Hole goes off, I should be allowed to call a player priority and banish a card. And you're talking about trying to activate a spell speed 1 ability in response to your summon when they've activated a spell speed 2 card against the summon. So you're trying to say, like, it's not Magic, okay? You can't hold priority in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's a Magic the Gathering thing. That's not a Yu-Gi-Oh! Thing. You do not hold priority. You never held priority. If that was a thing, it would have been in a rule book, guys. And again, I'm getting a little heated, like, because like I've had this argument with so many people, and by the end of the argument, they kind of come around to it. There must be a reason it didn't exist, then it did exist, and then suddenly Upper Deck is no longer in the picture, and the rule doesn't exist anymore. There's got to be something there, guys. But what they were talking about is they were talking about literally neutering the Time Wizard format. Now, should they fully institute that rule change, what we will do on this channel, I will go back. I will rename every video that we've made it through. I will rename them Legacy Time Wizard. And then I'll just go back through and I'll remake the decks for you following the new rules, because that's what a good duelist will do. And I'm not saying I'm a good one, but I'd like to try to pretend I could be. So if the need arises, we will do that. I will then turn some of these into like Legacy Critter formats, Legacy Treasure formats, stuff like that. And again, there's no rules saying that we can't hold our own tournaments. And that's like the opportunity that we get from this. I talked a lot in the early years of me being on here. I talked a lot about custom duel formats. I talked a lot about the underground leagues I was a part of. I'm going to touch base on that again real quick. This is a perfect example of why. Now, I'm not saying stop buying Yu-Gi-Oh! Products. I'm not saying do not support the official Konami releases. What I'm saying is, If we wanted to hold our own side events, they could not be used with registration. They would gain you no standing. That's fine. But all an underground event was it was an unofficial tournament. You weren't playing for standing, whether it was Upper Deck or Cozy. You did not need a Duelist ID. You did not register. You just kind of showed up. You did submit a deck list. Some people did act as judges. And then there were house rules. And again, I mean, we all go to each other's houses. We all play these games. Nobody stops us from building these fun things or hosting certain nights. And again, not to touch on Magic again too much, but like with Commander, you can have a lot of fun with Commander. You can say like, tonight we're only going to play with meld commanders. Tonight we're going to make it to where you don't need partner or whatever it is that allows you to have 2 commanders. You're just going to get 2 commanders. And again, just making your own house rules. We can do that. We can hold those events. I would say do it respectfully. That would be the biggest deal. Because again, I mean, I don't want to see anybody's events get shut down. I don't want to see anybody trashing the IP. I mean, obviously, you can agree that you enjoy the game without resorting to just straight up anger and or ignorance about it. So, like, if I ever had the time and the resources, like, I would probably say, like, hey, look, I'm going to rent out an area in this place. This is the event I'm going to hold. Here's the full list of rules, card pool, all of it. And if you wanna join in, you show up. And again, as long as you're doing this on the up and up, it should be fine. Should be great. But should the worst happen, should they fully go through with this, fully errated cards going backwards will actually destroy a lot of the sentimentality of it. It's fine. I sound like a Yu-Gi boomer because I am. But it would make it easier for newer players to approach it. It would be better if Konami would just assign a team, just maybe a dozen people, to just fully research out what the rules were per format and literally just take like 6 months and knock it out. Use the OCG as like a baseline for rulings at the time of, because I think, again, all those rulings are still available online. And just move forward that way and do it smart and do it small. Because again, otherwise, if you do that, you are going to make it to where decks that did not perform as good are going to become dominant. You will actually change the gaming atmosphere outside of people just figuring out like, oh, we could have used this card back then and nobody did. You'll actually just change the way everything operates. So not to keep going in on myself about this, like, hopefully I've made this point, I've made it clear enough. I don't think it's a bad thing. I see that they already backpedaled on the decision. I know that it was pretty firm like 2 days ago or a day ago, and they've already basically retracted it. I couldn't find it on the homepage anymore. So kind of a win for us. But again, it just feels like Konami, again, just doing stuff that's isolating the player base. They already did this with like Speed Duel. Speed Duel was an international thing. It was TCG everywhere. Then it was basically just continental North America, which again, I mean, people are still going to import the cards to their home countries. But it's kind of sad that you didn't immediately do that. And if we're not going to replace the product line with something like Rush Duel and bring that to TCG, then again, it does feel like a waste of the time. And at the very least, they do owe us like a final ban list, I think. So I might start shopping around, looking to see what other people have done. And then I'll put together my own as well and just kind of propose it out to the players. So for now, guys, I just want you to know I have my little vent. Tomorrow's Monday. Celestial should be cracking some packs. I think she bought a box of some new cards. Not 100% sure how she's going to be doing that. Tuesday, I am going to do more Speed Duel because, again, I took the Speed Duel Sunday and I turned it into a bit of a rant. And I'm finally going to get around to playing the video game. I'm going to go ahead and get some play footage with the whatever it was, 05-04 World Championship from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days game. And then I'll be back with some more Imperial format. I think I got like 3 more decks I want to build. I want to build an Exodia for you guys. I want to show you guys the deck I'm keeping. And then we've got to do something with Crab Turtle. It's like unofficially become the mascot of the channel, sort of. So we're just going to keep building Crab Turtle forward every format. So that sounds good to you guys. It sounds great to me. For right now, I just want you guys to go out, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a wonderful day. And take care of yourselves, all right? See you next time. Later.